Chapter 6089. Charlie nodded lightly. He didn't know if he and Aunt Han would send invitations to his father-in-law. However, since Aunt Han is at the University for the Elderly and is a colleague of Jacob, as long as this matter is made public, it cannot be hidden from Jacob no matter what. Thinking of this, Charlie couldn't help but feel worried. If his father-in-law knew the news, he would probably collapse, right? Charlie's worries were not groundless. He had known for a long time that his father-in-law had not completely given up on Mai-Ching just because she and Pollard got together. When he came back from the exchange in South Korea, he was more decadent than ever before. When the whole family went bankrupt, he didn't even blink. If there is room for recovery when your sweetheart falls in love with someone else, then if your sweetheart marries someone else, it is basically a death sentence. Moreover, given Mai-Ching and Pollard's intellectual background and their age and experience, since they decided to get married at this age, they must have planned to stay together for a long time. Therefore, Jacob has no chance. At this time, Jacob didn't know the bad news yet. He was doing calligraphy and painting training at the University for the Elderly. It said to be training. In fact, he just made a few pages of PPT and put some classic calligraphy and painting works from all dynasties in the PPT, while showing it to the students and explaining the creative background of each work. In fact, there is no technical content in this kind of thing. Jacob is most afraid of trouble on weekdays, so the copy used in the PPT is copied and pasted directly from the encyclopedia. He just stands on the stage and gives everyone a rough read of the content in the encyclopedia. Everyone also knows that what he talks about is not nutritious. But after all, he is the second in command of the Calligraphy and Painting Association. So he must be given some face. But even with such a lack of nutrition, Jacob himself was still very enthusiastic. In recent times, he has gone to the University for the Elderly more often than to the Calligraphy and Painting Association. The main reason why he always goes here is because Mai-Ching teaches there, and he can have more contact with her here. However, Jacob has indeed been hit hard these days. He couldn't understand why Mai-Ching was still clearly in love with him when she just came back from the United States, and why she was with someone else not long after. Moreover, after Mai-Ching and Pollard got together, when he was in front of her, her eyes no longer had the same light as before. Jacob could see that the way Mai-Ching looked at him now was no different from the way she looked at other men of the same age. On the contrary, every time she looked at Pollard, there was a different light in her eyes. This afternoon, when Jacob drove that Cullinan to the University for the Elderly, he happened to see Pollard driving a domestic new energy car to send Mai-Ching over. Jacob knew that car, and it was worth more than 10 or 200,000. In front of Cullinan is a younger brother. So, when Pollard parked his car and Mai-Ching got off, Jacob parked the car to the right of Pollard's car, which was the side where Mai-Ching got out of the car, and even lowered the window to greet the two of them condescendingly. He originally thought that Pollard would feel a little ashamed when he saw him driving Cullinan. Unexpectedly, Pollard didn't care at all what kind of car he drove. Instead, he came up and asked if Charlie was back. Hearing that Charlie was back, Pollard and Mai-Ching were very happy. But Jacob couldn't figure out why they were so happy. When giving PowerPoint lectures, Jacob looked at Mai-Ching under the podium from time to time. Mai-Ching had been listening very seriously before, but now she lowered her head and fiddled with her mobile phone. And her expression was a bit shy and happy like a girl. Jacob was disgusted. While talking about the PPT, he angrily thought to himself, "What is Mai-Ching talking and happy about?" At this time, Mai-Ching had just received a message from Pollard. In the message, Pollard told Mai-Ching the result of his meeting with Charlie, and also expressed his hope to hold a wedding as soon as possible. Seeing that his sweetheart was so anxious to marry him and give her a name and a family, Mai-Ching naturally was very moved. At the moment, she has completely fallen in love with Pollard. She can't find anything wrong with this man who is similar to her in circumstances, educational background, outlook on life and even living habits. She feels that this man is God's choice for her. It's custom-made and fits her perfectly. The biggest difference between women and men is that even if a man decides to move forward from his heart, the past scenery will often fetter him. And once most women decide to move forward from their hearts, all the scenery in the past will also be gone. No more nostalgia. Maybe she was madly in love yesterday, but after she wakes up, she will suddenly think about it and no longer have any nostalgia. This is the case with Mai Ching. Although she has been obsessed with Jacob for so many years, when her heart was attracted by Pollard, she completely lost her love for Jacob. But Jacob is still obsessed with her. He naively thought that Mai Ching should love him in her heart. The reason why she agreed to be with Pollard was probably because he could not give her an explanation. He felt that he was the male protagonist in the Korean drama, and Mai Ching as the female protagonist. No matter how many times she went around, she would still love him in her heart, and she must love him.